Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. And with all the grace of a drowning penguin.
Look up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Shaft!
Hey guys, welcome to another Cleaning Casting Crew production. We've got a pretty exciting match lined up for you today. It's here in the top right hand corner of Habitation Station. Representing Team MYI, My Insanity, it's Kane. He is the pink Zergy McFerguson. He is an awesome Zerg player, very, very helpful. He posts a lot on the Battle.net forums. Really goes out of his way to try to help newbies and stuff out. Just all around really strong player. Think, you know, he really first got on the map casting for the NASL, and you know, ever since has really been a dominant force. He's going for a pull first build, and this is Zerg versus Protoss matchup. We'll see how that pans out for him, as his opponent is going gateway first, and that can sometimes mean bad things it's just not the best opener, rather. Against Gateway first, sometimes Hatch first may be a better opener. Either way, his opponent here on the top left-hand side, representing Evil Geniuses in the orange trunks, playing the race of Protoss, he is the EG Resident Hobbit. Somehow still pretty popular with the ladies. It's Huck! Alright, now as we already mentioned, he is going for a Gateway first build. This is going to be a Zealot opener, pretty standard stuff right here. Both players just opening up as you would expect. Pretty early gas though for well, I keep wanting to call him motivation. It is actually Kane using a alias as his opponent, representing Scarecrow, I suppose. Either way, some Lings moving out onto the field here. So yeah, just basic normal Zerg vs Protoss setup. Both players are going to try and get expansions. What's really going to be interesting is going to be around the 5.5–6 minute mark. So we got about 2 minutes of typical setup period. Just in case you're wondering, this is from the MLG GameOn tournament. This invitational tournament with some great names in it. This is from Day 1, Group A. And yes, here we go. Lings are arriving on the field. Actually, this is 4 Lings now, and that's going to stop this pylon from being built. It's going to be canceled, in fact. Second pylon now being targeted down. Looks like that shall fall as well. Nice cancel there. Finally, we have the Stalker going to chase these Lings away, but this will unfortunately supply block Huck, who is not making any probes. As soon as the Mothership Core finishes, will a pylon finish before the Mothership Core? Yes, it does. So, unfortunately, Kane was not able to force a supply block, but, you know, Huck played that pretty well, and the Stalker going to chase the Lings all the way home. Looks like he may even get a sacrificial Overlord here, but the Ling's going to come back to intercept, trying to buy some time for the Overlord, but the Overlord is going to manage to get away here. Stalker going to come in up the ramp. No, he's smart enough to go head back home. He's going to camp right here at the bottom and do some exploring. Pretty nice little jungle to explore. Reminds me of the deserts of Vietnam. Okay, enough playing with the zoom in feature. Back to the game. See, usually spacebar will take me to the different bases. I'm not sure what's going on here. Let's check the hotkeys. Un momento, guys. Because I'm offline, it's not going to let me add it in. Crap. Ooh, nice Game Heart feature. Warp Gate and Metabolic Boost finishing here about the same time. Gotta love the Game Heart interface. This is played on the Game Heart map as well. I believe that's why the stuff over there is popping up. But it still looks so darn cool. Forge now starting for Protoss player. Ling's trying to break in here. Stalker going down pretty quickly, but we should get a force field. Yeah, force field saving the Stalker, who took a lot of hull damage, but even so, is still alive, and that alone is impressive. So the Roach Warren completing here shortly for the Zerg player. He's also starting a third base, so he's definitely preparing to defend his economic assets, but he really wants the Protoss to attack him at this stage in the game. Scarecrow has, or Huck has, one of two decisions. You know, he can attack he can attack Kane to try and punish his third base, or he can take a third of his own. Knowing Huck, he'll probably favor DT attack. He loves his Dark Templar, but, you know, he also likes being annoying with the Mothership Core, and he's doing that to his advantage. So he could just bunker down and grab a third base. It's always an option. Just doesn't seem very Huck-like. Alright, so Lair is in production now for Kane, who's actually only sitting on 2 gas right now. So he's not going for any kind of fast muta build. Nothing like that. Oh, there's a third gas coming as well. But either way, you know, this is looking like Roach Lane, perhaps into Hydra. You know, most likely into Hydra. Just super defensive standard, trying to get that also important 75 drone count. 3 bases would certainly be able to do that. And Forge getting chrono boosted right now. This lends me to believe that there could be an attack, and actually it looks like, yeah, it looks like a Stalker's moving out here. This could just be to clear the Zelnaga should there be a Ling here, but not really scouting any interference. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and be moving out. That's pretty awesome, as the +1 should be able to finish just about the time this attack will arrive, giving Kane very little time to respond to this. He's got some Lings and some Roaches in production here, but this is anybody's battle. This could definitely go either way. Nice holding back here by Kane. He's waiting until the very last moment until he's got exactly the number of reinforcements he wants. He's also trying to hit the Zealots at an angle where the Stalkers aren't there. Good force fields, actually. And this is... oh, this could... wow. We're going to find out. Oh, and the Mothership Core does go ahead home. Super great force fields there. We're keeping the Protoss army alive. Those were some overwhelming numbers from the Zerg. So, that was a tough-looking battle, but great usage of the Mothership there. Now we've got a high ground advantage here for the Protoss, and of course Kane going to go ahead and send his army right on back home. Waiting for the Roaches now. He may actually continue this attack, as Guerrilla Reconstitution is going to be finishing up, but no, the Mothership Core scouts it out, so knowing his opponent's going to be in place, he just plops down that infestation pit, and it looks like he's going to be going into a late-game scenario. Yeah. Gotta love the Roachling forces. Here is a third base now for Huck. So this is, you know, really good time to get this third base. He's actually a little bit late, but he's put on a lot of good pressure. Kane, of course, gonna have to apply pressure. He does not want that third to be established. Immortals are on the way, as well as Blink Stalkers and a +2 attack. So basically, late game scenario, Huck's gonna have an advantage. Kane wants to punish that now. They're actually going to get a pretty good concave if he chooses to engage here. But no, the force fields are going to go ahead and push him back to the high ground. And he's going to run, split his forces actually. He's not running home as I was expecting. Yeah, okay. So force fields are going to make it really difficult here, but he's got a really great concave. He's hitting from both angles, so he's able to target down the Immortal almost immediately. The Immortal does get blockaded by some force fields. The Immortal's still alive, and Kane has lost a lot of his army, but he's coming in for the kill on that Immortal. There we go. Final shot takes it out, but he has lost a huge amount of his army. Not much in terms of reinforcements. A small trickle of units. He looks like he might be missing some injects here, but he doesn't have too much of a bank either. So in either case, he is going straight into the swarm hosts. So this is going to be another defensive posture for him. He'll probably be wanting to take a third base here shortly. Go ahead, clearing this pylon off the map. That's a great decision as well. Looks like Huck was able to get an overseer there. Also very strong play there. That's going to make his observer a lot less likely to get killed off in the event of something like a Hydralisk today. Now we've got the ground weapons level 2 and Enduring Locusts both finishing up here roughly the same time. Kane, very insistent with these overseers. In fact, supply blocking himself there doesn't even matter. He's going to throw Roachling right back at this Protoss army. And the thing is, Protoss army has to kind of expose itself to these multi-pronged attacks just by way of trying to defend this third base. And in fact, This has whittled away a lot of the Protoss army, but Protoss army was able to back itself into a corner, so the Roachlings having to reposition, threatening here to take over this third base. The reinforcements now coming in at the third, and the Protoss army has moved back out. Again, it is exposed to some kind of surround on the Stalkers, so he's got to be really careful that the Roachling does not come in from the wrong angles. Looks like Kane's going to go ahead and retreat back for just a couple of moments. Mushroom Corps is going to chase it like a crazy stalker person. Anyways, fourth base is down now for Kane at the gold, in fact. So this is going to give him a huge mineral boost, which is really going to help because he's got a huge gas bank. He'll be able to spend that a lot quicker with this gold saturated. And the Swarm Hosts are now in position at the Zolaki Tower. He's going to slowly rally these Locusts to the natural and perhaps take out basically any kind of non-zero damage would be worth it for him at this point. Swarm Host is going to have to get out of here. He's got to be real careful of that Observer. But the Locust is going to chase some of these sentries. Yeah! He took out the shields of the Sentry and most of the shields of the Zealot, as well as a little bit of hull damage. So yeah, free units, no losses whatsoever. Well, an Overlord, but that doesn't count. You have those on the map for a different reason. Yeah. Alright, so Burrow just about to complete here, as well as Aspire. Not thinking we're going to see Mutalisks. It's a possibility. This is probably going to be for some kind of greater Spire, if I had to guess. Either way, Swarm Hosts, Spine Crawlers, great stuff here. Huck being very aggressive here. He's never letting Overlords get out onto the map. He's basically keeping Kane in a position where he cannot see everything on the map, and even some Lings taking out Immortal, but ultimately, you know, those Lings getting targeted down. These Lings are mostly for scouting, just trying to get in a position here where they can see all the different bases, and in fact, this will make a great counterattack spot if this main army gets out of position. And of course, the Locusts have scouted that it is indeed out of position, but it looks like, oh yeah, here we go, Ling's going to be repositioning. He's going now into the natural, only he's going to find an Immortal Zealot wall there. And yeah, those are going to be some dead Lings. Now, the main Protoss army moving here onto the creep, but the Locusts are going to be popping out here, and that is a lot of Locusts. My god, look at those numbers. That's more than the Egyptian swarm. Wow. Alright, so here are Corruptors, and we've got a Hive on the way as well. So most likely these will be morphing into Brood Lords at some point. Right now they're going to be super great at killing off the Mothership Core, which is really the power unit behind this Protoss army. That's what was allowing this Protoss army to get away safely. I doubt we'll see Huck rebuild the Mothership Core. It's just too late in the game to see that. But yeah, that's really going to put him in a position where he can't be as aggressive. He can try to, but he's going to risk losing huge chunks of this army. And the more tech-oriented units, the less he can afford to lose them. These Immortals in particular. And the Locusts, of course, always chomping away at the heels of Huck's army. 8 Spine Crawlers in production. We've got a little bit of a Zealot attack here at one of these proxy pylon. Roaches are going to reinforce that, but he's got the Spine Crawler defense here as well. This gold actually being attacked here by some Blink Stalkers. And dude, this is great play. Huck hitting so many different angles at once, even keeping the Immortals back within blinking range in case the Stalkers were forced into a bad retreat. Extended Thermal Lance and +1 flying attacks completing here at the last moment. And we've got even more Spine Crawlers in production, as well as the beginnings of a Greater Spire. Charge Lots, Zealot Legs going to be on the way here shortly, as well as a Templar Archive. So we should be seeing us switch over into High Templar, most likely with Zealots. More than likely he'll also be going for Archons at some point, as Ground Weapons level 3 is now completing. So we have a huge gas bank. Archons are a great way to spend that, and then you can spend the rest of his minerals on Zealots. The thing is, Kane really doesn't have anything to spend this gas on. You know, he is getting the Greater Spire, but he's really low on minerals right now. and this gold base is continuing to be harassed, and this is really where he's getting most of his mineral income from. Taking a look now, he's actually only about half the income of his opponent in terms of minerals, and this is clearly showing itself just in the way this game is panning out. But Kane is an amazing player, so anything could happen. You know, Huck has a very strong composition, including 4 Colossi, a lot of Immortals, and pretty good number of gateway units. However, if he's able to kill off most of those gateway units, with the tech units being the only thing alive, you know, he'll be able to target those down pretty quickly. Those should be the main priority, are the tech units, especially now that Psionic Storm has completed. He'll want to get those High Templar out of the battle ASAP. Broodlords now completing. So this is going to be the final moments here, guys. Blinks right on up here into the gold mineral patches. Drone's being forced off the line. He wants to pull these Broodlords into a position where he can blink right on underneath them. Of course, the Spine Crawlers stop that from being possible, but Locust moving forward makes it pretty difficult for the Protoss to blink right under the Stalkers until the Colossi are able to clear it out. So it just becomes a positional warfare, and Huck knows that Defender's advantage, he's not going to be able to win that battle. So he's just going to go head home and get in a position to defend his own fort here, and do a little bit of harassment here on the bottom right as well. We've got another pylon being built, proxy pylons going up everywhere, and we've got another base being saturated here. And of course, with Huck now realizing that, he's going to place a couple of different sneaky little pylons. Zealots coming in. He's going to have to knock down this rocks though. Pathogen Glands completing, Psionic or Protoss Shields level 1 also completing. So basically these guys getting every upgrade in the book at this stage in the game. Gravitic Drive also being researched. A lot of Warp Prisms. Dude, this is going to become one huge game of cat and mouse, hitting from every possible angle. Colossi do incredibly well against Swarm Hosts. Locusts are basically cannon fodder at this point, but they do soak up shots from the Colossi, which is all the roaches and whatnot really need. Besides, they're free. Viper's in production now. If he is able to take out the Colossi using Abduct, then the Swarm Hosts immediately become super, super viable. They're great against the entire rest of the composition from the Protoss. So this is a great decision here by Kane. Alright, so here we go. Warp in the Zealots at the gold base, and we've got some Spine Crawlers being built, but they're really way too late. Roaches are going to show up though. They should be able to buy enough time that Spine Crawlers can complete this one wave of Zealots. Going to go and get cleaned up, but there's another attack down here. Looks like the Infestors were able to clear that up, but now the Broodlord's going to go back to the middle of the map. I'm a little bit torn on the positioning here for Kane. I feel like he should be better positioned towards the bottom mining bases, as these are going to be the more important bases coming into the next stage of the game. Then again, he doesn't want to sacrifice that gold just yet. It's not completely mined out, so it's kind of a tit-for-tat situation. This is what he's deciding. Their flying attack level 2 now completing, as well as missile attacks level 3, which was actually denied. Ouch, looks like that evolution chamber got killed off somehow. Gotta look the game hard in the face. Okay, so Tempests are in production here in the natural. Looks like these will be the anti-Broodlord measure chosen by Huck. This game really coming down to the late game here. Seeing a lot of text and stuff that you don't usually typically see. It's really great how these guys are tearing at each other from one angle and then another angle, just really trying to pull the other opponent apart. If they see any moment of weakness, they just kill everything in sight. And we got some Roachlings being sacrificed to the Colossi gods. I think that was mostly just to free up supply though, as Roachling is not going to be the greatest thing against just this number of Colossi, so that supply is better spent elsewhere for sure. 59 workers killed right now for Huck. He has been on top of it. there's a couple of Archons floating around. Those things are so bright and shiny. So bright and shiny. Alright, and here we go. More Warbends at the main. But, you know, Spine Crawler, Spore Crawler defense everywhere makes it very difficult to pinpoint Kane and find any level of weakness. With just this sheer number of static defense, this is exactly how you stay safe. You cannot spare any expense when it comes to defense. Hey, that can rhyme. And the Corruptor Viper come down here again. These are the more important bases for our Zergy McFerguson. Reason being, take a look. Okay, so if you can position your army here, just as, well, basically where these swarm hosts are, you can cover this base at this angle just by sending the swarm hosts out this way, and then this base is also defended. And then you can defend this base as well, because here's the main entrance to that base. Then he's got this covered as well, which really completes the defense, but it pulls the army a little bit too far. As soon as these mine out, he really should switch all his defense to the southern side of the map. It's interesting that Puck is continuing to attack this northern position though. It's really a strange position both to attack and to be so willing to defend. I wonder if this will change as awareness of the map develops. Either way, you know, here is the battle, guys. Mostly been posturing up to this point. Yeah, Swarm Hosts moving out. The Vipers are trying to get into a good angle where they can pull things like Tempest. There we go, one Tempest does fall. But ultimately, it's going to be a stalemate battle, and that's going to force Huck to go ahead back home. A lot of free units just kind of swarming in afterwards. The free units really make this an interesting matchup. Taking a look at the units lost tab, you know, you can actually see that the free units are making about a 3,000 resource difference, even though both sides have hemorrhaged a lot of units in this half-hour long game already. The free units just don't cost anything, and ultimately, you know, killing one stalker here, one stalker there, just as we're seeing, you know, time and time again, it really begins to add up. More swarm host locusts just coming on. I'd be really interested to see Kane go ahead and take this third, this last base though. He could really utilize mining from that, and it would be a cinch to defend. Alright, so we've got a huge number of infestors coming out now, as well as some extra flying upgrades. Basically what this is signifying is some awesome fumbles with, you know, Blinding Cloud, Duck. That's really going to come down to the energy-based resources of the Zerg. If he can break the tech backbone of the Protoss army, which infestors are great at, there's not going to be much left. Gateway units, you know, of course there's a lot of gateways on the field, but the Zerg's completely ready to deal with that. He just has to somehow eliminate the backbone of the Protoss army, the tech. And here we go, we've got Huck moving right on in here. The Swarm Host going to drop off their Locusts and then go ahead and retreat behind the Spine Crawler Alliance Ground Combo level 1. Now completing for Huck. He's got 10 seconds left here. 8 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now he's going home. As soon as his ground armor completes, he sacrifices the Tempest in an effort to go home. Actually, the Tempest may be able to make it. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Colossi here as well. Yeah, he's leaving a lot of his tech. Actually, this is a huge mistake by Huck. He lost a Tempest and a Colossi there. And as we stated, Kane's primary motivation, yeah, that's his name, motivation. But yeah, his primary goal is to take out tech-oriented units. Either way, another Warp Prism drop here in the main. A lot of Zealots here. These Charge Lots taking out a spawning pool and threatening to take out a Hive as well. Looks like they will actually get the Hive. Oh no. The layer was started 25 seconds ago, though. Kane already knew that was going to die. Graviton Catapult, that just sounds threatening. Alright. Huge Protoss army. Mostly technology units. And, you know, he's really, really close to maximum supply, considering the fact that with just gateway units, he could reach max in 2 waves. So he's leaving that for the more tech-oriented units. In fact, going for carriers, this is a Zerg's worst nightmare. I can tell you that from personal experience. Carriers are crazy insane to deal with. Hands down, one of the hardest units. You know, you're trying to target the carrier, but it's just retreating behind a line of stalkers, and then you got the little siphon carrier things that are poking around at you. Oh my god, it's so annoying. Your units just melt. And so does the Greater Spire to Zealots. Charge lots are super annoying this late in the game, especially when you have little slow units like Brood Lords and whatnot. Yeah. Alright, so Void Rays being in production as well. This game is literally mining out the entire map. Well, the southern bases do have some resources left on them, but all the other bases really starting to get low on the simoleons here. Immortals being sacrificed now, knowing that they're going to do a lot of damage to these spine crawler lines. They're mostly being sacrificed because 200-200 supply, you know, they're not that useful against a brute war composition. And even so, you know, killing off, what, 5-6 spine crawlers there? Totally worth it. In fact, they're still alive. He can go home and reuse them later once the shields are regened. He's just not even thinking about it. Guys, it's like 4 a.m. here. I'm still up casting. I love these games. This MLG GameOn Invitational has been amazing. Up all night watching replays. My god. It's a caster's wet dream. Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. And we've got the 3 units harassing the Protoss. Alright, and the Swarm hosts again just gonna retreat on away. You would have hoped for a swarm of locusts, but they didn't quite spawn them. There we go, there's a swarm of them, but ultimately they're gonna get melted here by the Colossi and by the carriers. Carriers, of course, going to represent the end of the age of the swarm hosts, but those were some awesome abducts, some great fungals as well, and that's going to be the end of 2 of those carriers. 2 only carriers left as well, and looks like we've got a huge army of Corruptors here, which are just melting through the Void Rays, melting through the carriers. Oh my god, this is the death of the entire tech backbone of the Protoss army. Huck did a great job, but he overextended just a little bit in that last engagement. He should not have stayed for that battle. Those abducts were phenomenal, but we still got some tech units right now for Huck. He's not out of this game by any means. He just took some damage there. He's about 10,000 resources behind on the units lost tab. Taking a look, oh my god, look at those numbers. 5 Tempest lost, 3 Archons, 10 Immortals. Huge numbers here. Wow. And still all the harassment you could ever ask for at these northern bases. Zealots just killing spine crawlers, man. Every spine crawler dead is another drone dead. And we've got more Warp Prism harassment going here into the main. Only there's nothing here in the main to actually attack, so we have to warp in over here into the natural. Right here on the high ground where nobody can see. And more swarm hosts just coming here, attacking, poking the photon cannon a little bit, and then spewing their blood on the dirty jungle floor. A lot of zealots coming out here. Do 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 do. Yeah, these guys are both poking at one another, waiting for the other one to make a mistake. Just such a crazy, incredible late game. And there's basically nothing left here at this base, so there's no reason for Kane to try to defend it. Here we have a lair, so it's a little more important to defend this. But we got the Swarm Host mostly being the defense here, but that layer is about half HP. Hopefully he'll throw up some spine crawlers or something to defend that, and that Swarm Host is gonna fall. That's a terrible death. Imagine being torn up by psionic blades. These are blades you cannot really even see. If you can, they'll play a force field. Just seems like a stupid way to die. And there are no more minerals left here. It looks like, you know, gas. None either. Yeah. So no reason really to defend that layer can be built elsewhere. And indeed it is. So it's again coming all the way down to the southern bases. That's the way this map is played out. And as you go to the southern bases, you can see that they get progressively closer, ultimately coming to a contest between the two players on this plateau. Which is why you'll see Swarm Hosts a lot more on this map. Simply because, you know, you will be able to attack just like this. It's beautiful. Right here from the high ground, eliminating the gas. Free units, man. Free units. Free friggin' units. Sonic Storm. Almost like free units. Not quite. And here we go. We've got the main Protoss army yet again. Moving out. That's a lot of Void Rays. 2, 3 carriers. A lot of Colossi. Some High Templar. Basically everything you can get in the Protoss army. Now those are some key fungal growths, good storms, Infestor army, just really worth its weight in gold right here. The fungal growths really eliminated most of the shields on those Void Rays. Now he's got to be careful to get some better fungal growths. Ooh, nice abducts right there on those Void Rays. One of the Void Rays did fall, the other one did not. Now we've got Locusts coming in, trying to deal with anything on the ground. Good fungal growths yet again. Void Rays getting picked off by a huge army of Corruptors, trying to get another key fungal growth. All he needs is one good one. Now with the Corruptors army, oh, there we go. There's a good fungal growth. 5, 6 Void Rays, 2 of them being abducted. Boom, straight into the Corruptors. He's got to kill off that last Void Ray. There we go. And now he's grabbing a carrier. Boom, down goes the carrier. Here we go. Void Ray getting picked off as well. This is awesome usage of the Viper. Viper is great against this high-tech Protoss army. And the Corruptors doing all the damage, the backbone of the damage. In fact, the motherships, the carriers, everything falling now. Wow. It looks like that's going to be it. Oh, wow, he's being super nice to Huck. He's letting one of the carriers go home. This is when you let one unit live in medieval times so that they can tell horrible tales of the victor. Oh my god, Dracula ate his enemies. Nope, never mind. They didn't even let him live. What assholes. There's really not much left to say about Huck's army. You know, he's still making some carriers, he's still making some Void Rays, but Kane already has the ideal composition to deal with that. And I don't feel that Huck has anything he could possibly transition to. He's so set up for Stargate, if he tries to go for anything else, it will take literally too long, and he'll get steamrolled by Kane. But if he doesn't transition out of it, he's going to get steamrolled by Kane. Basically what I'm saying is this game is over, but Huck's never been one known to leave games until, you know, the very last possible moment. And that is probably why we're seeing probes moving out onto the army field. Dun dun dun. We're going to find out. Alright, so we've got Locusts just completely wrecking the southern expansion. No real damage on the Nexus itself, but a lot of these probes are getting killed off here. And in fact, oh no, not going to go for the photon cannon. But here we go, we got the probes moving out with the Void Ray, High Templar composition, and the Locusts just, man, those Locusts were like, probes. Now they're chasing, some of the probes getting picked off. That's going to allow the rest of the probes to get away. Air Armor level 3 going to complete in 11 seconds, but he's going to be retreating So it looks like he won't be taking advantage of this upgrade. You have to wonder, you know, with him sacrificing that level of probes, does he even believe he's still in this game? Alright, so here's another huge army of the Locusts. It seems like the Locusts are stopping the Protoss from really progressing past the middle of the map. Every time he tries to, he gets hit by Locusts first, and then a huge army of fungal growth infestors. And here we go, good high Templar usage here, but it's not enough. Carriers trying to target down the Spore Crawlers. They're taking a lot of pot shots though from the Spore Crawlers themselves. And now here's the Corruptor army with some Vipers abducting straight in. Oh, the Void Rays are, nope, does not manage to survive there. Good fungal growths yet again. Swarm hosts just parking themselves. They're not actually able to attack this army, but it's okay because fungal growth is doing its job with a little bit of Spore Crawler support. Here we go. We got the Vipers coming in, some Corruptors as well. Broodlords are on the field. There's no real usage for them, but those are Infested Terran, and those Infested Terran are going to take advantage of this fungal growth yet again. The tech is being reset now of our Protoss opponent. And there we go. There's the GG. Huck taps out. That was one amazing game between these two players. You have to give it to both sets here. One player representing my insanity, the other representing Evil Geniuses. Both a compliment to their teams. But ultimately, we do have Kane taking the victory there. Now, this was a best of 3 in a open bracket. Very awesome. If you like this, please check out the more information on the MLG GameOn tournament. All the VODs are up. All the replays are out there. I'm going to be covering a lot of it, so stay tuned here on this channel. Make sure you hit subscribe in the bottom right-hand corner because there's a lot more content to come. Bye-bye for now.
신앙 선수가 되는 거고요.
그렇죠.
멀티에 방해도 받지 않으면서 안전하게 해주고 있는 모습인데 맹독충의 스피드업이 되기 전에 즉 전방 위에서만 싸워야 되고 전방만 좀 제거하고 마지막에